Well, I think, the first thing I want to say is almost 4 decades of, of the Iranian revolution, you can't really say that the Iranian model is an attractive model in the region. It is really not a model that people will look up to and say, that's the way I want my country to be. And I think at the same time...
It's not popular in Sydney, I can tell you.
And I think at the same time also, as we are seeing nowadays, you have a much younger demographic with a lot of Iranians who would like to see their own country opening up, for their country being, let me say again, normal, not extraordinary, but normal in terms of, their ability to do business, to conduct their lives, to have stability and security in their country. Now, these are all internal Iranian issues. How they deal with them from our perspective is their business. But I think the problem that we've had and we continue to have with Iran is basically its external overreach. And that external overreach, in part of it is this ideological and sectarian messaging of the Iranian system and government. Iran has helped in its own way in raising sectarianism to become a major problem in the region. So rather than you looking at yourself as a national of a certain state, you're really looking at yourself from the perspective of a religious affiliation. And this has been very disastrous for the region. This has caused intolerance, because if you look at people from your own sort of religious perspective, you can't run countries and societies and the relations between countries and societies from that perspective. So I think that is a major problem.
The big Sunni-Shia split.
Sunni-Shia, and then of course when you get to Sunni-Shia, you get among also various smaller sects within the Muslim community, then about Christian communities that have been in the region for thousands of years, and so on and so forth. So clearly, looking at that, there is a real problem with Iran. Now, looking at the JCPOA, the JCPOA is a very problematic agreement from our perspective. The JCPOA was sold to us that it will actually ameliorate Iran's behavior in the region and will allow Iran to open up to the world and will allow Iran also to become a normal state. I mean, that was a premise that was there, part of how the JCPOA was sold to us. So clearly, 3 years from implementation, we see that we are nowhere near that. Iran has been much more aggressive in the region. Iran has been emboldened to export its missiles to the region, whether they are going to Hezbollah or whether they are going to the Houthis in Yemen. This has been a major, major problem. And I think Iran looked at the JCPOA and understood it to be partly nuclear agreement and partly acquiescence for it being the regional player. And as a result, we have been having issues and problems with Iran in the region through interference, rhetoric, all sorts of problems. And as somebody said, the problem sometimes is not in the nuclear technology itself. The problem is really in the beast that's controlling that nuclear technology. So the issue is not only the technology. The issue is also the beast that is controlling that. And from that perspective, I think, we have been supportive of the current administration's withdrawal from the JCPOA. And we feel that sanctions and containment are an important element in bringing Iran back to the table to address 3 major issues. The first major issue is concerns about what happens after, the set timings in the JCPOA. The second issue is Iran's ballistic missile program. And we've seen that various instances where Iran is freely sending these missiles to Hezbollah, sending them to the Houthis, as I said. And the third issue is Iran's interference in regional affairs. Two examples are very clear about an emboldened Iran. Instances of exporting its missile technology and its physical missiles after the JCPOA. This is a sign of an emboldened country. And the other one, of course, is its very aggressive intervention in Syria. The escalation of Iranian intervention in Syria is also marked by signing the JCPOA, which clearly tells you that I have sort of, confirmed that my back is fine now with the 5+1, and I can go on with my plans for the region.
Problem on my left flank solved. Now I move on my right.
I move on my right. Yeah, that's how I see it.